Now, author Gavin Turkin has named Nigeria the most promising emerging market of the next decade. Is he right? The all-share index is currently trading up just over 1%, extending its four-day rally ahead of the nation's highly anticipated elections. BA Peterside, an analyst at Financial Derivatives, joins me now to discuss the markets. BA, thank you so much for joining us. The market clearly on a very good run right now, and when we hear comments like that, we get the sense that this market is one you need to look over the long term. Let's start with that sentiment. Your thoughts on the long-term prospects of this market, because there's so much talk about the elections these days, and I think many people may not consider the bigger picture in terms of where Nigeria is headed as an economy.
I think first, you need to ask yourself as an investor why you're here. Are you here for the short or for the long end of the market? If you're long, you need to discount the noise. There's a lot of noise, the elections, oil prices, and all that. But take a look at the entire Nigerian economy from a macro perspective. You've seen significant growth from the non-oil sector, and you've seen the population that's young and booming, and you've seen an expanding middle income space. So that tells you there's a lot of room for opportunities and the kind of opportunities that may present itself in this economy and for the market as well. So discount this election, discount oil prices, what more can go wrong? And you've seen the market drop an unexpected event, four-day rally. This is heading to the fifth day, if I'm not mistaken. And you're seeing stock prices inching up gradually and consistently. And you've seen the banks come up with good results, except UBA and Sterling that's been unimpressive as
Right, but let's talk about this rally and how far it can go. Do you think it's ending just before the polls? A lot of tension right now. You see the borders are closed in Nigeria. A big focus on the election right now.
Yeah, I think it's going to end. I think this rally is going to. I think this might just be the last day. Tomorrow, I wouldn't expect this rally. I might just see the market closing flat or struggling for direction. Yeah, borders are closed. I've seen that. I don't know if that's a good sign or not. I wouldn't want to comment on that, but let's leave that for the security agencies to talk about.
I think it's a precaution, and we've seen this happen in the past. But let's talk about the results. And you just mentioned UBA.
Yes.
Very modest growth in terms of performance compared to what we've seen in the likes of FCMB, Zenith Bank, GT Bank. A lot of people really excited about those numbers. Your take on UBA, where it is now?
I think UBA. I think the problem is having is. Has to improve its efficiency. I would have gone for size shouldn't be a problem. Size should be an advantage, and it should be an advantage because when I look at the likes of Zenith and GTB, how they're able to weather the storm and post impressive earnings, then let's see FCMB, Tier 2 bank. If it's able to perform that fit, then why wouldn't UBA do that? UBA is about the fourth largest bank in terms of customers' deposits and asset side. So we expect some efficiency. Those assets need to be churned out to generate good earnings for investors. And if you look critically at those results, it just came out this morning, so I've not really had the opportunity to study it critically. But from what I could see, I see it's the group that's actually good. When it comes to the Nigerian unit, PAT was down 13% to 40 billion. So that tells me, is Nigeria not good for UBA? And you've seen, okay, fine, good strategy to expand into Africa, but are you expanding into Africa and focusing on Africa and not the Nigerian unit? So I would need to see improvement, mainly contain costs. One of the highest bank in terms of costs to income ratios, and just like its co-competitor or its competitor, First Bank.
Well, clearly UBA has had some challenges locally, but I think that what's most interesting about UBA is its diversification across Africa. So it's in 19 African countries, and given what is happening with the Naira, I guess exchange rate risk becomes an issue right now. Your take about that strategy for UBA, it sounds great going into Africa, given Africa's growth prospects, but then when we begin to see the weakness in the Naira, is this something that concerns you?
Yeah, it concerns me. It concerns me. But being bankers, I believe the bank should be able to be on top of that game. And it just says, okay, if you're UBA, if I'm going there, I have to be the best in what I do. Then we are going to start seeing the bank moving from just managing the single currency balance sheet to multi-currency balance sheet, because you're going to still have those numbers coming in to impact the Naira. Then it now tells you on the robustness of the operations and how fast or how attractive those countries, those economies, and the return. So it's now a function of deployment of capital, the risk versus the return. So that's where they need to look at and make those decisions in terms of going ahead or even closing up shop in some of those countries if the returns are not what the investments.
Well, we will see how the market reacts to those numbers. Thank you so much for coming in, BA Peterside, an analyst at Financial Derivatives, giving us some perspective on some of the results released and where this market is headed long term.